how we doing? This lens that you're seeing right now is the Tokina 11-16. I've been vlogging with this lens for a couple years now. I really like it for a few reasons. Reason number one, this lens is super, super wide. It's 11 millimeters and you get a little bit of zoom into 16 millimeters. But it's not so wide that you get weird warping and wobbling on the sides like you do with a lot of GoPro footage. Almost tripped on a branch. Reason number two that I love this lens is the front element isn't super protruding and bulging out of the front of the lens, so you can actually screw filters onto the front of this lens. Like right now, I have the Polar Pro ND filter on, variable ND, so I can get some nice accurate shutter speed out here in nature. Hanging out in nature. And that's actually not very typical for wide angle lenses. Usually they have that bulbous front element and you can't put filters on unless you use a matte box, and that just starts to make your rig super big. Big rig. And reason number three is this lens is really lightweight. Right now I have it on the Canon Rebel T7i. I'm testing this camera for a review and it's just super light. I've used this lens on not just YouTube kind of stuff and vlogs, but also on professional cinematography gigs. I've had it on the Red Dragon 6K, the Blackmagic Ursa G2. I think the image quality holds up. It's not super sharp like the Sigma 18-35, but it absolutely gets the job done, especially for how wide of a lens this is. I think I just got my butt all muddy from sitting here. My butt muddy? Yeah, it's muddy. That's really why I got this lens, so I can film my own keister. The absolute biggest issue that I've had with this Tokina 11-16 is the autofocus noise. And right now specifically, we're working with Canon's dual pixel autofocus, which is the best in the business as far as I'm concerned. And we're still getting a little bit of that. Yeah, there it is. So here's our plan. What we're gonna do, we're gonna grab this new version of the Tokina 11-16. I rented this from Lens Rentals. Thank you, Lens Rentals. I don't know why I'm thanking you, I paid for it. So what I would expect from a new version of this lens is improved autofocus noise, because that is so annoying. It's basically unusable in a vlog if you're moving back and forth a lot. I would also hope for a little bit better image quality if possible. It's already good on this lens, but maybe we can get a little bit more sharpness, or just, I don't know, maybe it just looks a little better. Thirdly, I would hope that the build quality of the new one would be better. It already feels really solid. We're just gonna run through those things. I'm gonna get the heck away from this lake because I'm getting chewed alive by bugs. Who the heck leaves a dirty diaper in the forest? Just don't do that, please. We're at f2.8 because guess what? I like a little bit of blur in my background. Sue me. The question is there autofocus noise on the new Tokina 11-16? Here we go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you don't need to buy this lens. That's pretty disappointing. I was hoping that a brand new version of this lens would equate to better performance autofocus wise. Hey Tokina, pissed at ya. Super angry. The one way I could think that maybe you can reduce the amount of noise on this lens when autofocusing is to not use an ND filter and just stop down a ton. So it's really bright out, so that's actually a good time to test this kind of a thing. I'm gonna take off the ND filter, just stop down to get decent exposure, and we'll test to see if that's still noisy. Here we go. Bye-bye, Peter McKinnon. Wow, cinema. Ooh, it's kind of a cool trail, actually. Check it. Neat, huh? All right, let's test the autofocus when there's no ND filter. You're just stop down, f16. Nobody can complain about blurry backgrounds right now. All right, let's see if it makes noise. Ready? So we know that the autofocus noise is pretty much not better at all on this new version of the Tokina 11-16. This Canon camera only shoots in 1080 and it's a standard picture profile, which is probably fine. But to do the image quality test, I'm gonna use my Fuji X-T3, it's actually my girlfriend's, with obviously both Tokina 11-16s. I'm gonna try to create the same shot side by side, do a few tests, and then I'll talk about that when I get home and look at it. Here's a little tidbit for you. Fuji's autofocus is actually pretty dang good, like very good. We're gonna do a few shots that are the same framing and everything with the old version and the new version of this lens. and see if there's any improvements, any changes. Yeah. Shut up, lens. So the most obvious difference between these two lenses is the build quality and the build construction. This new one looks a lot like the Sigma Art series. They know those lenses are super popular, and they probably knew they could make a couple extra bucks rehousing their old lens and putting it in a body that looks similar to the 18 to 35. And honestly, I really do like the construction of this Tokina 11 to 16. It's the ATX-I. The one feature about these, okay, this needs to stop. I'm gonna switch it to manual. We're gonna hope for the best. Ready, everybody? Here we go. We're gonna let it focus. No. Manual, okay. And actually what I just did was demonstrate, because I'm a good YouTuber, the manual focus clutch on this lens. It's very different. Whereas like the Sigma 18 to 35 has this little switch, autofocus to manual focus, just a little switchy. These 11 to 16s have this clutch. That's autofocus, is pushed up towards the front of the lens, down for manual focus. I don't really like this design because I find myself shooting and accidentally, like I'm filming and then I switch it forward on autofocus and it might go wacky. Other than that, this feels really nice. I can't really recommend this lens yet because I haven't looked at the image quality tests on the X-T3. So we're gonna go back to my apartment / studio, review that footage, and then I'll tell you guys whether this lens is a complete scam or if it actually is worth upgrading, kind of just switching to the ATX-1 version. Let's go. Just before we start talking about these lenses, let's just take a little look at my gear shelf. Hi, baby. She loves laying down in there. So I'm doing some major pixel peeping right now on the footage that we just shot with the X-T3 in 4K, 10-bit, as high quality as I can possibly shoot right now with these lenses. This is the old lens, this is the new lens. You can see the leaves look a little bit warmer with the new lens, but I'm pretty sure that that's only because the sun was moving a little bit. I try to change lenses as fast as possible to avoid that kind of stuff, but the next shot, I really, really love this shot actually. So this is the old lens, and I didn't realize how much depth of field you could get with this lens because I used to use it on the GH5, but putting it on the X-T3 with a little bit bigger sensor, it looks really, really cool. It looks pretty, and you can still see what's going on in the background. There's not a ton of distortion on this lens, which is super impressive and really nice. To me, this new lens, this new version of the Tokina 11 to 16, is actually pretty disappointing. I read some forums and some people have said that they're just rehousing the old lenses to resell them in a new, fresh case, you know? And it's just kind of a shame because I feel like why re-release a lens without improving it? It functions the exact same, it looks the exact same in my opinion. The old version you can find for around 350 to 400 bucks, depending on where you get it, USD. And then the new one is 450, brand new. USD, so I just rented it, thankfully. I didn't buy it. I'm gonna send it back and I'm not gonna buy it. What do you guys think? Is this new Tokina a scam or is it worth a little bit of extra money? I wanna see what you guys think in the comments. I always read my comments and respond to you guys. Be nice, okay? Let me know what you think. Let's have a conversation about this stuff. It's fun to nerd out together. That's why we're here, right? This is the true test of this lens. The cat approval. Do you like it, kitty? She flicked her left ear. That means she's gonna return it. Me too. See ya, kitty. Hi, I need a haircut, and I'd like to shout out 2 of my top tier patrons. Thank you very much to all my patrons. First of all, their lovely names are on this screen. Thank you to Michael Mayfield, my dad. Thanks for making me and becoming a patron dad. And also thank you to my friend Dylan Cabral. I appreciate all my patrons very much for your support during this crazy time. Love you all. Bless you all. Bye to you all.